In this video I'll be talking about every FNAF fan game released by Hadman, formerly known as Super Luigi Lover 9999. If you've never heard of him before, you've probably still came across one of his games at some point. He released a total of 15 games during 2015 and 2016. Many of those games are part of 3 series that he made. Hadman's games are often considered textbook examples of what 2015 FNAF fan games were like. His games are made up entirely of reused assets, mostly from FNAF 1 through 3, but they also commonly reuse textures and sounds from the Return to Freddy's games. Also, like a lot of 2015 FNAF fan game developers, Hadman deleted all of his FNAF fan games out of embarrassment. This means that a lot of information on the games are lost, and the release dates are only close estimates. Let's start us off by talking about One Night at Springtrap. This was Hadman's first FNAF fan game, which was released on the 6th of July 2015. As the name would suggest, there is only one night. It starts off with a text-to-speech phone call. The phone call just explains what you're supposed to do, and that's it.
Welcome to the new horror house of Springtrap. Your job is live. Any other job at any other pizzerias?
The office is the left side of the FNAF 3 office. This time it has the desk from FNAF 2 with recolored plushies on it. There's also a digital clock, which is how you tell the time. The cameras are mostly from FNAF 3, but 2 are from FNAF 2. So how do you actually play the game? The main way of dealing with the animatronics is by wearing the mask. On your left there's a doorway from FNAF 3. It's been blacked out, but you can see what's in the hallway by using the light. If someone is there, you have to wear the mask. There's also a music box you have to wind up in cam 4, the prize corner. Now let's talk about the animatronics. Most of them are made up of recolored parts of FNAF animatronics. You have Springtrap, who has been left untouched. He's just Springtrap from FNAF 3. He'll attack from the doorway. There's Spring Puppet, who is a puppet from FNAF 2 but looks a bit more yellow. Spring Puppet is the one you have to wind up in cam 4. Then you have Fredbear, whose design is withered Golden Freddy's head, withered Freddy's ears and jaw, withered Bonnie's torso, and Freddy's limbs. He also has Nightmare Fredbear's top hat and bow tie, which was taken from the teasers as FNAF 4 hadn't been released yet. He'll also attack from the doorway. There's also Spring Mangle, who has been recolored to look more green, is missing an ear and has phantom eyes. They'll appear in your office on the left side, then you have to wear the mask. There's Spring Balloon Boy, who has also been recolored to look more yellow and appears more withered. I never actually encountered him, but he apparently acts like Phantom Balloon Boy but can actually kill you. And lastly there's Toy Springtrap, who is a photonegative colour Spring Bonnie with phantom eyes. He acts a bit differently. He starts off in prize corner and will run at you every once in a while. When you hear running, you must wear the mask. Sorry, I mean wear the mace. This is quite a boring game. It's just another FNAF fan game where you have to wind the music box while waiting for someone to attack, with everyone doing the exact same thing. I think Toy Springtrap could have worked better if he was in a different camera to the prize corner and if you had to keep checking him in order to know when he's going to attack. The game is not scary at all. It's just so easy to the point where it's difficult to find it scary. There's also nothing scary about the atmosphere. Despite reusing sounds from FNAF 2 and 3, it doesn't maintain the same vibe. When you beat the game, you unlock the extras. This gives you some backstory on the animatronics. What's interesting about Springtrap is that it doesn't mention him being possessed by a purple guy, so maybe he's just a withered Spring Bonnie. He used to be an animatronic at Fredbear's family diner, which presumably closed down. The game takes place at the horror house of Springtrap, which is a new horror attraction built after Fazbear's Fright burnt down. After Fazbear's Fright burnt down, they found that many animatronics survived the fire. This includes Springtrap, Spring Puppet, Spring Mangle, and Spring Balloon Boy. Now, it's obvious that One Night at Springtrap was made very quickly by someone who had little to no experience making games, so it's not surprising to find that a sequel was made 11 days later. One Night at Springtrap 2 opens with a cutscene reminiscent to the FNAF 2 opening cutscene. It takes place at Fredbear's family diner. On your right you can see Bonnie, who has been recolored yellow. This time the office is the right side of the FNAF 1 office. There have been a few added props such as Spring Balloon Boy and Spring Mangle's head and a paper pal. The office has been recolored to look more purple and yellow. You have 2 monitors. One is up the whole time, which shows cam 1 from FNAF 2 with Toy Fredbear in it. You have to keep charging him up. Toy Fredbear is a recolor of Toy Freddy made to look more like Fredbear. The other monitor displays more cameras, all of which are from FNAF 2. The main mechanism to deal with the animatronics is a locker, which was taken from the Return to Freddy's 4. The locker works on Toy Spring Bonnie, Springtrap, and Fredbear. Toy Spring Bonnie will appear out the doorway, Springtrap will run past you, and never encountered Fredbear, but he'll appear on the right side of the office. Like the first game, this suffers from being too easy, with every animatronic doing the same thing except one who acts like the puppet. This time it's a bit harder though, as you don't have much time to react when an animatronic attacks. There isn't really much lore to the game. It shows Spring Mangle and Spring Balloon Boy's head on the desk, meaning that it probably takes place sometime after the first game. Something odd is that instead of an extras menu, you get to listen to the sound effects used in the game. I would say that One Night at Springtrap 2 is better than the first game, but neither are very good. About a week after One Night at Springtrap 2 came out, a third game, One Night at Springtrap 3, was released. This game came out on the 25th of July 2015. The game opens with a minigame set at Fredbear's family diner. In the minigame you play as Fredbear. You walk towards the end of the screen and fall to pieces, which appears to shock Spring Bonnie. Then the purple guy runs in and walks to the end of the screen. Then the menu opens. Now, this game has sounds and textures used from FNAF 4. Even the title screen looks exactly like the FNAF 4 title screen. This game came out 2 days after FNAF 4, so it could be considered the first FNAF 4 inspired fan game. Although the game would have most likely begun development before FNAF 4's release, so it is debatable. The office is a FNAF 1 office with a FNAF 2 hallway in the middle. Like the second game, it has animatronic heads on the desk. This time it's Toy Spring Bonnie and Toy Fredbear. Also, like the second game, there is 2 monitors, one of which is always up and you use it to charge up an animatronic. This time it's Nightmare Fredbear, who doesn't look anything like FNAF 4's Nightmare Fredbear. He's made up of the same parts that was used to create normal Fredbear, but this time he doesn't have Freddy's limbs. Instead, his legs are made up of the crop parts of Springtrap's corpse and the arms are Nightmare Freddy's. He also has Nightmare Freddy's eyes taken from a teaser and withered Golden Freddy's heads on his ears and replacing his hands. Even putting aside all the reused assets, this is kind of a messy design. The other monitor allows you to view the cameras, which are cam-free from FNAF 2 and the others are from FNAF 3. The rooms are all made to look more dark. While this does make them look creepy, it does make the visuals look dull. In the hallway in front of you, you can shine your light to see if anyone is there. If you see someone there, you have to click on your left and hide behind you. When you hide, it's a black screen, but you can shine your light in the room. I really don't see the point in this. Nightmare Springtrap will attack from the hallway. When Nightmare Springtrap attacks, dramatic music will play. Nightmare Springtrap is Springtrap in FNAF 3 with Nightmare Teeth, which are also on his stomach like Nightmare Fredbear in FNAF 4. He also has Nightmare Eyes and 3 Springtrap heads on his body. He also has Nightmare Claws. There's also Nightmare Spring Puppet, who I don't think I ever saw in the game. He's a spring puppet from the first game with Nightmare Teeth, red eyes, 6 arms and 4 legs. Again, these hybrid designs are a bit awkward. There's also 2 completely new animatronics in the game, the Lock animatronics. You have Lock Bunny, who is a combination of several withered Golden Freddy and Plushtrap parts with withered Freddy's eyes. He definitely has an uncanny appearance. He is also recolored blue. He'll appear in the office on the left side. When you see him, you have to hide. And lastly, there's Lockbear, who also appears on the left side of the office. Instead though, you have to view the monitor if you see him. If you fail to do so, you'll get a kill screen and he'll crash your game. His design is Toy Freddy's body with withered Bonnie's hand and wires, withered Golden Freddy's feet, and his head is Springtrap from the I'm Still Here teaser, which everyone thought was Fredbear when it was first revealed. My god, his head is fucking huge, it's like the size of his body! This game honestly plays out almost the same as the second game. The only difference being is that you have to use a light and it has less appealing visuals. After you beat the night, you get another minigame. This time you play as Spring Bonnie. You start off next to broken Fredbear, then you go to the end of the screen. I really don't get what's supposed to be happening in these minigames. Then you get an ending screen with Springtrap and Fredbear's eyeless heads. Then you get the extras where you can view the animatronics and jump scares. As far as popularity goes for this series so far, One Night at Springtraps 1 and 2 were quite popular amongst FNAF fan game enthusiasts. 3 was definitely less popular than the first 2 games. However though, now we're going to be talking about One Night at Springtraps 4, which is by far the most well-known game in the series. This game was actually played by Fusion Z Gamer.
I don't know why it's called One Night at Springtraps 4, because I don't think there's a One Night at Springtraps 1, 2, and 3.
Bruh.
One Night at Springtraps fans often consider One Night at Springtraps 4 to be the best in the series, which isn't really saying much. The game was released on the 8th of August 2015, on the first anniversary of FNAF 1. It opens with a cutscene where you're in the FNAF 4 bedroom. You can actually run to the doors during the cutscene. In the background it plays a FNAF 2 cutscene ambience and a Ring Around the Roses song from the opening of the Return to Freddy's 1. Towards the end, you'll see Lockbear in the left hallway. When you go back to the bedroom, you'll quickly get jump scared by him. Then you get the title screen. In the title screen, it plays overpowered, just like every summer 2015 FNAF fan game. The full title of this game is One Night at Springtrap's 4: The Legend of the Spring Suit. When you press play, you get a minigame. You play as a crying child. You walk towards a stage which has Lock Bear and Lock Bunny. He then lies down and starts crying next to a door that says employees only. After that, the night begins. This game is very different to the previous 3. This game has a 180 perspective, similar to the Return to Freddy's 3. Speaking of the Return to Freddy's, the office is made up of the office from the Return to Freddy's 2, 3 and 4, all of which act as one room, which is pretty funny. There's 4 animatronics active, however only 2 of them are actually threats. There's Nightmare Toy Fredbear and Nightmare Toy Springtrap, who are of course their original counterparts from the second game now having nightmare designs. These 2 can jump scare you at any time but won't kill you. They'll just make hallucinations that say it's me repeatedly flash on your screen. If you press control to calm down, they'll disappear. The 2 actual enemies are Spring Suit, who is just Springtrap with higher brightness, and Prototype Fredbear, who is Withered Bonnie recolored yellow with Withered Golden Freddy's head. Spring Suit is the main enemy. In the center towards the left, there is a screen on the wall that has a map. This map shows where Spring Suit is. He'll appear in the hallways on each 3 sides of the office. When he is there, he'll make a robotic noise. When he attacks you, you have to go to the very left to the hallway jammer. There's 3 buttons, each for whatever part of the office Spring Suit is at. As for Prototype Fredbear, he'll occasionally appear on the left side. When he does that, you'll hear the Night 5 phone call from FNAF 1. Then you have to go to the right side where you have a system panel with an office jammer. When you press the office jammer, he'll leave. That's basically it. There isn't any monitors. So this game is actually not bad. It is way better than the first 3 games. Spring Suit is very aggressive and you have to be paying attention to where he's coming from every time he attacks. If you're attacked by Prototype Fredbear at the same time as Spring Suit, you do start to panic a bit as you have to be very quick to stop them both. When you beat the night, you actually unlock a hard mode, which is even more intense. This isn't a great game by any means, as it's still pretty damn easy with there only being 2 mechanisms which are near identical to each other. When you beat normal mode, you get another minigame. You once again play as a crying child. You enter the employees only room. You then see Spring Bonnie glitching out. When you walk towards Spring Bonnie, you get an ending screen which shows a kid crying. I think this is supposed to show the purple guy getting spring locked, which if so means that Springtrap is in fact possessed by a purple guy, unless Spring Suit is canonically a different animatronic to Springtrap. In the extras you can view the animatronics and jump scares. So I think One Night at Springtrap's 4 is a prequel and possibly the first in chronological order. A bit of evidence that supports this is that Fredbear is Prototype Fredbear, meaning that he was likely made before the Fredbear who we've seen in the first 3 games. I guess during the opening cutscene, Lockbear is coming to the kid's house and kills him, or maybe this is some murderer type thing where the purple guy's in a suit and kills a kid. There isn't much of a story to these games, but this is why I think the chronological order of this series is. So yeah, One Night at Springtrap's 4 is actually okay. Again, it still suffers from the same issues that plagued the other games, but considering how it's not a very long game, I would say it's definitely worth playing. There is one more game in this series, One Night at Springtrap's Rebooted. The game was released on the 20th of August 2015. With it being a reboot, this means that it is not canon to the first 4 games, although it has nothing to do with the first game. This game just jumps straight into the night when you press play. The gameplay is similar to FNAF 4 with you having to walk around the room. You appear to be in a living room, which is a real life image. You can walk to 2 places and look behind you. You can walk towards a window in front of you, which acts like a hallway in FNAF 4. You have to listen out for breathing. If you hear breathing, you have to close the window, and if you don't hear breathing, you have to shine a light. Springtrap will attack from the window. Also, if you hear breathing, you literally just have to close the window for half a second and he'll leave straight away. On your right, there's a Fun with Plushtrap hallway, which has Plushtrap in it. You can shine your light to see how close Plushtrap is to you. When you're in a living room, you can turn off the light, which means you won't be able to see. This also means you can't leave the room. If you turn off the light, it'll send Plushtrap back. If he gets too close, he'll kill you. Just before he gets too close, he'll jump scare you but won't kill you if you go to the hallway, similar to Nightmare Foxy. There's also a new animatronic named Mini Lockbear, who is with Golden Freddy's body, which is recolored to look more green, and his head is Teaser Springtrap's head with Plushtrap's jaw and eyes. Every once in a while, you have to look behind you. When you see him behind you, he'll disappear. Another new animatronic is Dark Bear, who is a grey golden Freddy with red eyes, a pink top hat, and he holds a knife. He'll appear in a living room every once in a while. When he attacks, you have to look behind you. Now, I'm a big fan of FNAF 4's gameplay and would say it's the best in the series. As a result of that, I'm kind of a sucker for FNAF 4-like gameplay. I really like how you're constantly having to check stuff and pay attention if someone's there. It keeps you very active and it never gets boring. This does have that FNAF 4 feel to it, although it's a lot less intense than FNAF 4. It's still fairly intense whenever someone attacks, and it does have an okay atmosphere to it. When you beat the game, you get an ending screen that shows Springtrap, Fredbear, Lockbear, and Lock Bunny. There is 2 bits of scrap content that can be viewed in the extras. One is a scrapped animatronic named the New One. He is a dark blue golden Freddy with yellow eyes and has a recolored dark blue head of withered golden Freddy and shadow Freddy on him. The other scrap content is a cutscene where you're in the prize corner. In front of you is Springtrap, Shadow Bonnie, and Shadow Toy Freddy, who I guess are also unused animatronics. I don't know if this was going to be the start of a new One Night Springtrap series or not, but this reboot was a final installment of the series. Like its predecessor, I would say One Night Springtrap's Rebooted is just an okay game. I prefer One Night Springtrap's 4 as it had more to it. Not long after One Night Springtrap's ended, in around late August 2015, Hadman released a new game titled Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner. As the name would suggest, this game has 7 nights. When you press play, you get a cutscene of you in a living room. You then look at a news article that says that a new Fredbear's Family Diner is opening, and they're looking for a night guard. In this job, you'll earn $1,400 per week, which is quite a lot of money. The game's office is a FNAF 3 office, but mirrored. This time the cameras are mostly taken from Five Nights at Candy's, with the rest being from FNAF 2. There's also a lot of sounds taken from Five Nights at Candy's as well. On your left, you have a monitor where you can view the cameras. In Cam 4, you have a music box you have to keep winding up. If the music box runs out, you'll get killed by the golden puppet. On the right, you have a panel where you can corrupt signal and use a BB jammer. If someone gets to your office, you have to use a corrupt signal. If Golden Balloon Boy leaves Cam 4, you have to use a BB jammer. Both Golden Balloon Boy and Golden Puppet are recolored to look more yellow. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be the ones who'll reach the office, where you have to corrupt signal. In this game, Fredbear looks the same as how he looked in the first One Night at Springtrap's game, with the only difference being he has bloodshot eyes. Spring Bonnie has the same body as Fredbear, but has been retextured and recolored and has Springtrap's head. Also, there's a Golden Freddy Easter egg who you have to pull up the monitor if you see him. This really does feel like One Night at Springtrap's 1 but stretched out to 5 nights. This time though, you don't have to check if someone's in your office, because it'll make a static noise whenever someone is there. Literally, all you have to do is wind the music box up until someone attacks, and they're easily dealt with. That being said, remember how I said that there's 7 nights? Yeah, well, night 6 is near unbeatable. This is because the animatronics will attack so fast to the point where you can't wind the music box anymore. Also, you can play night 7 without beating night 6. They're both accessible in the extras after you beat night 5. When you beat night 5, you get a paycheck which says that the game takes place on the 13th of November 1987. I did compile the game and I couldn't find anything else that looked like an ending screen, so I don't know if anything happens when you beat night 6 or 7. One last thing, there's 2 minigames you can only access through the extras. One of them is just a take cake minigame but with different sprites, and the other you play as Spring Bonnie who walks up to a crying child. At the end of these minigames it says save him. That's all there is to the game. Sometime in September 2015 a sequel was released, titled Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner 2. When you press play, you get a cutscene of you in a dining room in FNAF 1, which has balloons. Then you get a cutscene of you in your living room just like the first game. You pull up newspaper which says that a new Fredbear's Family Diner is opening. This time you'll be earning $1,600 per week. The office is a FNAF 2 office with a right doorway from FNAF 1, as well as a desk from FNAF 1. A part of the left side has been cut off. The rooms are made up of FNAF 1 and 2 locations. This is yet another FNAF 2 fan game where you have to wind up the music box and wait for someone to attack, then you have to wear the mask. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie make a return, this time they're withered. Both have endoskeleton hands and a ripped torso that exposes their endoskeleton. Fredbear is missing his jaw, one eye and one ear. Spring Bonnie is missing his face, a part of his ears and legs. Both these animatronics will appear in your office when they attack. There's also Toy Fredbear and Toy Spring Bonnie. These two look almost identical to Toy Fredbear and Toy Springtrap in the One Night at Springtrap's games. Toy Spring Bonnie will attack from the hallway and Toy Fredbear will attack from the doorway. When Toy Fredbear is in Cam 1 and when Toy Spring Bonnie is in Cam 5, the next steps will be at the office. Whenever Toy Fredbear moves, he'll make a high-pitched Freddy laugh. When he gets to your doorway, he'll make a Nightmare Fredbear laugh. Like I said, there's a music box in Cam 5. Like the first game, you have to keep out Golden Puppet. Golden Balloon Boy makes a return in this game. He appears more withered and is missing his face. He'll appear in Cam 5 every once in a while. When he does that, you have to click the blue square in Cam 5 to make static noise which will scare off Balloon Boy. I would say this game's better than the first, but it's still boring and for the most part is really easy. Things only get hard on night 5. This is when the game just throws everyone at you constantly and it makes it really difficult to wind up the music box, making it completely RNG based. At the end of each night you get a cutscene, similar to the one that you got at the start. Each night adds a new animatronic who is looking at you. After night 1 it's Spring Bonnie, after night 2 it's Golden Balloon Boy, and after night 3 it's Golden Puppet. After night 4 though, instead you only see Toy Fredbear in a distance. When you beat night 5 you get a paycheck, which says that the game takes place on the 13th of November 1990. In the extras menu you can access night 6. After you beat night 6 you get a minigame. This minigame has you play as Fredbear. You're in a room with 4 kids and Spring Bonnie. At the start text pops up that says another incident. One of the kids are separated from the others. Fredbear goes up to the child. The child then starts crying. Then Fredbear's eyes change colour and he starts laughing, implying that someone is inside the suit. After the minigame you get a news article that says that Fredbear's is closing down again after a child died there. And that's the end of the Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner games. Something that you might be thinking, is Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner canon to One Night at Springtrap's? Well, I couldn't find any disclosure on this, but it's possible. It's unclear when any of the One Night at Springtrap's games take place, and there's not really a lot of lore to any of these games, so it could be. So there's one more Hadman game that became a series, and that is the One Animatronic games. I mentioned that Hadman deleted all of his games. Well, most of them were eventually re-uploaded. However though, the One Animatronic games are still lost. There were 2 games released in around September 2015. There is 2 videos on the second game and only 1 video on the first game. The first game has 3 nights and the second appears to have 2. The first 2 in both games are normal mode and hard mode. One video was by ElMoyo69, which showed both games. The video of the first game only shows a custom night, which is misspelt. As the title would suggest, there is only one animatronic, Nightmare Toy Freddy. The game's office is a FNAF 1 office with a FNAF 2 desk and a toy box from FNAF 3. There is a light on your left and right where you can see if someone's in the doorways. There is also a panel which has an audio system and a Nightmare Toy Freddy jammer, which is probably how you deal with Nightmare Toy Freddy. There are 4 rooms in the cameras. You can play audio in cam 2, which I guess is another way of dealing with Nightmare Toy Freddy. The audio will occasionally stop working. When this happens you need to reboot it. This video shows Nightmare Toy Freddy at the highest difficulty setting, and he kills a player early on during every attempt. It's unfortunate this is the only footage that we have of the game as of right now. Now on to the One Animatronic 2. Like I said, ElMoyo's video shows both games. There is another video of the second game by Extra Game. The office in this game is a FNAF 2 office with a FNAF 3 fan and a thank you poster on the right. On the left next to the hallway is a lever from the Return to Freddy's 4, where you can charge the power. You can shine your light in the hallway to see if anyone's there. If you see someone in the hallway, you're supposed to shut a door in the hallway. If you run out of power, there's a power outage sequence of Nightmare Toy Freddy. What's funny is that when he kills a player, his jump scare freezes and the player can still look around. Both videos don't actually show what happens when you win or even anyone's AI outside of the power outage. There probably isn't much to either of these games, but it would be nice if all of Hadman's games could get found. I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to plug my Discord server, which is about FNAF Lost Media. The link will be in the description. If you have any information on any of these games or better have a copy, please send it there. The next game I'll be talking about is by far Hadman's most well-known game, Toy Freddy Simulator. This is one of the most popular FNAF simulator games, and it was the first popular simulator game to succeed E-Gross's Bonnie Simulator 1 and 2. In this game you can play as 3 animatronics, Toy Freddy and fan-made Golden Toy Freddy and Phantom Toy Freddy. For Toy Freddy it's basic simulator gameplay. You have a move timer which starts at 300. When it gets to 0 you can move into another camera. Toy Freddy will move from the show stage to the game area. In this game though he'll attack through the right vent instead of the hallway. After that he'll appear in the office, and you can kill the Night Guard shortly after the move time goes down. If you take too long, the Night Guard will wear the mask and it'll send you back to the show stage. You can also check if the Night Guard is looking at the camera or not. Make sure they're looking at the camera before you attack or you might fail. Now on to Phantom Toy Freddy. This one is piss easy. The Night Guard will check the hallway and vents every once in a while. When you see Toy Freddy in the hallway, you can jump scare the Night Guard. And lastly you have Golden Toy Freddy. You can just make him appear in the office at any moment. You can only attack after about 7 seconds. This one is luck based as the frequency the Night Guard views the camera is randomized. That's basically all there is to the game. It's hard to really judge this game because it was clearly only made to be played in just a few minutes. Unlike Bonnie Simulator, there isn't any prizes or challenges or anything like that. For what it's trying to be, it's fine I guess, but it has nothing to it. The only other thing worth mentioning is that there's these facts about FNAF 2 that appear during the loading screen. Stuff like, did you know that Balloon Boy has no endoskeleton jaw? Did you know that we still don't know whose endoskeleton Endo 02 is? I personally think it's with Freddy. It also says, we don't know who moved the paper plate in Party Room 4. Remember when that was a commonly debated theory? I think it was with a Chica because she stands right in the way of the paper plate. It's as if she's trying to hide the fact that it's been moved. Now let's talk about Hadman's second second most well-known game, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 the sequel. The game was released on the 19th of October 2015. When you press new game, you get a news article that says Fazbear's Fright was rebuilt after it burnt down, and is reopening as Springtrap's Punky Pizza Party Pella. Jeez, that's a mouthful. But that's not even the most ridiculous part of this article. So, in the Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner games, you earn well over $1,000 per week, which is quite a lot, isn't it? Well, in FNAF 3 the sequel, you earn $9,000 per minute. Yes, per minute. $9,000 per minute is $540,000 per hour. Each night lasts 6 hours, so you're getting paid $3,240,000 each shift. There are 6 nights in this game, so in total you earn $19,440,000. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Your life is at risk from killer animatronics, so you should be paid a life-changing amount of money. I'm more interested in how the fuck the company has this much money. I mean, that's close to $1 billion a year. That's gotta be the biggest paycheck in any FNAF fan game. So all the game's rooms are from FNAF 3, which makes sense since this is a FNAF 3 location. The main enemy is an original animatronic named Purple Trap. The Purple Trap animatronic is Springtrap but appears less withered. As his name would suggest, he is purple. His torso is just a big pipe for some reason. He has glowing eyes and Springtrap heads on his hands. He'll move closer to your office in the cameras. Now, none of the cameras have names, so I'll have to show you on the map. 2 rooms have a door in them. You can seal one door for 15 seconds. After that you have to wait a few seconds before sealing it again. You don't need to seal the door on your left if you see Purple Trap, but if it's on the right, you absolutely must. If he gets past, he'll enter the next 2 rooms. However, once he is at this point, he'll eventually reach the office. He'll first show up in front of you, then he'll move to the door on your left, and then he'll kill you shortly afterwards. Occasionally the monitor will have an error. When this happens, go to the reboot panel on your right and reboot the camera. On the door on your left, you can close the door. However, you have power which will go down very quickly when you have the door closed. You can recharge your power though. When the power runs out, you get a pretty cool power outage sequence of Purple Trap while it plays a slowed down version of the FNAF 2 ending theme. The door won't work on Purple Trap, so what's the point of the door? Well, there's 2 characters, Springtrap and Withered Plush Trap. Both will run past the window. When they do that, you have to close the door until they've made it across. Withered Plush Trap moves faster but will also leave faster. He won't actually kill you and instead will disable the door. Withered Plush Trap is missing his left eye, left arm and jaw. He's also holding Adventure Plush Trap's head with blacked out eyes. There's also the Phantoms. You have Phantom Springtrap and Toy Hybrid. Both can appear in front of the window when you pull down the monitor or reboot panel. If you see them, you have to look at the monitor for a few seconds. If they jump scare you, they'll open any sealed door. Speaking of jump scares, let me play the jump scare sound. Now, in the game it's condensed down to about 2 seconds, but the sound file is 27 seconds long. This game has a reputation for being very hard, and there doesn't seem to be any videos of anyone beating Night 4. And yes, this is a very difficult game. This is because of how aggressive the animatronics AI is. You'll constantly be attacked by Springtrap and Plush Trap, which diverts your attention away from Purple Trap. The issue is that once you start sealing a door, you're left vulnerable for 3 seconds, so if you get attacked by Springtrap or Plush Trap when you start sealing a door, you're most likely dead. And Purple Trap can sometimes move to another room when you're sealing a door. If it's the left door, you have to quickly shut the right door. Not only might this not be possible, but if you get attacked by Springtrap or Plush Trap while this happens, you are dead. I don't think Night 4 is unbeatable, but it requires extremely good RNG. So there's actually 2 endings to this game, the good ending and the bad ending. The bad ending is achieved by just beating Night 1 through 5 normally. Before I talk about these endings, I'd like to talk about a cutscene that you get after beating Night 1. In the cutscene it shows a first person view of Springtrap talking to Purple Trap. Yes, the animatronics are sentient in this game. Purple Trap is planning on creating nightmare animatronics to scare away the kids from the pizzeria, because he finds them annoying. Springtrap doesn't agree with what Purple Trap wants to do. When you beat Night 5, you get a minigame with Springtrap and Purple Trap in a room with 3 kids. In the bad ending, a red bear named Insanity jumps at an arcade machine and scares the kids off. Insanity is a nightmare animatronic made by Purple Trap. Then Springtrap yells at Purple Trap, Purple Trap seems to feel bad about what he did, then text pops up on the top right that says bad ending. To get the good ending, you have to complete 3 secret minigames. One minigame can be unlocked by clicking on Purple Trap when he's in a camera. This gives you a minigame where you play as Springtrap. You walk towards the left where you're in a room with an arcade. When you leave, Purple Trap will be there. When you touch him, the minigame ends. The other minigame you unlock by clicking Withered Plush Trap when he runs past. This gives you a minigame where you play as Plush Trap. All you do is walk to a child and then it ends. The third minigame you unlock by clicking on Phantom Springtrap when he appears behind the window. In the minigame you play as Fredbear. You're in a room with Phantom Springtrap, Toy Hybrid, Purple Trap and a Green Rabbit. When you touch Phantom Springtrap, the minigame ends. The Green Rabbit is another nightmare creation made by Purple Trap. This one is named Corrupted. The good ending minigame takes place in the same location as a bad ending. It shows Purple Trap confused. Then a broken Corrupted falls from the sky. Then text pops up on the top right that says good ending. I have no idea what the fuck happened here, but I guess the Nightmare Animatronics broke. Maybe Springtrap sabotaged them? The Nightmare Animatronics become enemies on night 6, which I was able to access via hacking. On night 6, your visibility is more limited. The Nightmare Animatronics look really good. Corrupted is a green toy Bonnie with Freddy's left eye, withered Freddy's jaw which has been recolored grey, and a puppet is inside his head. And Insanity, my god does he look horrifying. He is a red toy Freddy covered in blood with 4 rows of sharp teeth and black eyes. What's even scarier than that though is Golden Insanity. This is Insanity but a bronze colour, has wide creepy eyes and a gaping mouth. Now I have no idea how to deal with these guys on night 6. In fact I'm convinced that night 6 is impossible. I tried looking at the monitor, panel, closing the doors and nothing worked. Even if I'm playing the game wrong, it's still gotta be unbeatable as the other animatronics AI are turned up to the point where it's impossible to take your eye off them, so you'll eventually run out of power. One last thing. The Nightmare Animatronics have different jump scare sounds, and if you thought the normal jump scare sound was long, listen to Corrupted's jump scare sound. And that's the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 the sequel. This game definitely had the most amount of thought put into it than Hadman's previous games. There is somewhat of a story to it, even if it's ridiculous, and the gameplay is a lot less boring. However though, it suffers from being way too hard. Nightfall shouldn't be max mode level difficulty. The game would have been better if the animatronics AI was decreased or if you had more chances to stop Purple Trap. The game still wouldn't be great, but I would take an easy game over one that's unbeatable, especially when this game had a lot of good ideas. Before moving on to the next game, I'd like to bring up something interesting. In the archive description of FNAF 3 the sequel on the Hadman wiki, it said, "It's just another FNAF game that I made. There's a fan-made sequel to FNAF 3 once again. FNAF 3 sequels I made, One Night at Springtrap's games, Trapped Inside Freddy's, the One Animatronic games, FNAF 3 the sequel." Trapped Inside Freddy's is a FNAF fan game that I've never heard any mention of outside of this description. So maybe there was another FNAF fan game that Hadman made that no one knows about. If you have any information on this, let me know in the comments. I am now going to move on to Hadman's next game, Five Nights with the Toys. The game was released in November 2015. The game opens with a news article saying that a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is opening and is looking for a night guard. What's interesting is that according to the game's description, this takes place 30 years after the last Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closed down. At the end you get a check that says that the game takes place in 1987, so that means that the last location closed in 1957. Despite the toy animatronics being the enemies in the game, most of the rooms are actually taken from FNAF 1. The FNAF 2 rooms are Prize Corner and the Right Vent, which has been renamed the Ceiling Vent. Instead of a Celebrate poster, you have a Toy Freddy poster that says Celebrate. The office also has Adventure Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, and Funtime Foxy on the desk. Just like FNAF 1, you have a light and door on your left and right. Also like FNAF 1, you have power usage. However, though, it goes down much slower than it does in FNAF 1. If you run out of power, Toy Freddy kills you. Toy Bonnie attacks from the left, and Toy Freddy and Toy Chica attack from the right. Mangle will attack from the ceiling vent. You have to seal the ceiling vent in the camera when Mangle gets in. There's also a music box in Cam 9, which you have to keep winding up or the puppet kills you. You aren't given any warnings before the music box runs out, so keep checking it. When you have a door or ceiling vent shut, your toxic meter will go up. It'll gradually go down when an entrance is opened. If you don't have anything shut, you can pump air in the vent cam, which decreases the toxic meter. There's also Golden Toy Freddy. The Toy Freddy poster will ready change to Golden Toy Freddy. When this happens, you must look at the monitor. There's also a Shadow Toy Freddy Easter egg. He just stands in the office and doesn't do anything. He'll leave when you pull up the monitor. So this game has quite a few bugs. The most common one is that the sound cues don't always play. Whenever someone enters or exits a door, they'll make a running sound. When Mangle enters a vent, you'll hear a banging sound. But these sounds sometimes don't play, so you have to check the door lights and vent cam often. That's not really much of an issue, in fact it actually makes the game more challenging. The other bug though makes Night 5 almost unbeatable. There is a chance that if you close a door or vent on an animatronic, they'll just completely ignore what you did and kill you. I have no idea how this happened. Luckily it's not too common, but this happened a lot on Night 5. There's also a glitch that can happen where the animatronics won't move if you're looking at the monitor, but the AI is still active. Also on Night 4, the animatronics AI are just turned off, like I never encountered anyone at all throughout the whole night. These bugs don't ruin the game, but they definitely are noticeable and get in the way. Something pretty cool about this game is that you actually get a minigame every time you die. It's randomized between 4 minigames. One of them has you play as a purple guy. You walk around the pizzeria. All minigames take place at the same location. At the bottom on the right, you walk towards Golden Toy Freddy. Then you get jump scared by him and your game will crash. Another minigame has you play as Shadow Toy Freddy. In this minigame, you walk to Golden Toy Freddy, who appears to be laughing. I think what happened in the previous minigame is that the purple guy got killed by Golden Toy Freddy, and Shadow Toy Freddy is actually his spirit. Either Golden Toy Freddy is possessed by a child who kills a purple guy out of revenge, or Golden Toy Freddy malfunctions and attacks him. Another minigame is you play as Toy Freddy, who's going around giving children cupcakes. After you've given all 9 of them cupcakes, you can go to the exit. And the other minigame is you play as Toy Bonnie. There's 3 ghosts who you can interact with. When you touch them, the minigame ends. There's also cutscenes that you get at the end of each night. The cutscenes are yet again reminiscent of FNAF 2. In the Night 1 cutscene, you see Golden Toy Bonnie on your left. On the top left, it displays text that reads Memories. The Night 2 cutscene is the same as the Night 1 cutscene, but there was a question mark at the end of the text. In the Night 3 cutscene, Golden Toy Bonnie is staring at you with blacked out eyes. The text that says Memories is now glitching out. In the Night 4 cutscene, Shadow Toy Freddy is there instead of Golden Toy Bonnie, who is staring at you. The text now says, It's me. It is mentioned in the news article at the start that there was a Fredbear's Family Diner, though in the game's description it says it was Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I don't know if there was a typo, if there was another location before Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Anyway, it seems that these cutscenes take place at Fredbear's Family Diner during the 50s, which I think is also when the minigames involving Golden Toy Freddy take place. I wasn't able to beat Night 5, and there's very few videos on the game, none of which show what happens when you beat it, but in the files is a check that I briefly mentioned earlier. It's the exact same as the check in FNAF 2, and yes, he plays Jeremy Fitzgerald in this game. In the extras there is a custom night, which I assume is probably unbeatable. So that's the end of Five Nights with the Toys. While it is a FNAF 1 and 2 clone, it does have a few original ideas. Even if it does have many glitches, it still manages to be an enjoyable game, and I would say it's one of the most balanced games that Hadman made. Interestingly, there was going to be a sequel to Five Nights with the Toys, but it was cancelled very early on in development and there isn't much known about it. So all of Hadman's games that I've discussed came out over the course of 4 months. However though, the next Hadman game didn't come out until 7 months later. Hadman deleted almost everything from his Game Jolt, so I have no idea if he went on hiatus or just outright quit game development for a bit. On the 15th of June 2016, Hadman released a new FNAF fan game, Fredbear's Big Adventure. Unlike his previous games, this was actually a FNAF World fan game. In this game, the main character is Fredbear. At the start of the game, you talk to an animatronic named Blue Bear, who informs you that you're in an alternate universe where everyone you know is evil. Fredbear is trying to get back to his world. The overworld has an 8-bit look to it, just like what the original release of FNAF World looked like. You can move around the map using portals. One takes you to Bluebear where he tells you to take down an auto chipper. He warns you that the auto chipper is more powerful than the last one you fought. I'm guessing he means the one in the original FNAF World. During fights you have Fredbear, Spring Bonnie and Springtrap. Auto chipper is backed up by 2 chop and rolls. So is this harder than auto chipper in the original FNAF World? Well, I don't know, because Fredbear's big adventure is lost media. This is another FNAF fan game that I just don't see how it became lost. There is literally 15 videos of this game. That's right, 15. On the plus side though, we do have full gameplay footage of the game. The best video on the game is a 29-minute video by Cosmin Mahita-Nitu, which shows a full game. In the game, you only fight bosses. Before you fight the first 3 bosses, Bluebear warns you about their attacks. The game saves after every boss fight. After you defeat Auto Chipper, you can enter a snow world, where you fight Snow Cone. Then after that, you unlock a new world where you fight Mad Endo. After you defeat Mad Endo, you go back to the snow world. Here you fight Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica. After you defeat them, you unlock a cave world. Then you fight Nightmare Freddy, Nightmare Bonnie and Nightmare Chica. After defeating them, you go to a water world where you fight Balloon Boy, JJ and Nightmare Balloon Boy. Then you unlock another cave world. Before fighting the next boss, you talk to Bluebear. The next boss is the Fat Fazbear Gang, but when you fight them, it says the Fat Freddy Fazbear Squad. So in the game, Spring Bonnie can be used for shielding and healing. Apparently the Fat Fazbear Gang's attacks will get past a shield, so you're only supposed to heal. The Fat Fazbear Gang is made up of Shadow Freddy, Golden Freddy and Phantom Freddy. After you defeat them, you reach a final portal. Before you enter, you talk to Bluebear, who then breaks a 4th wall saying that you only play FNAF fan games out of boredom. He then says that the portal actually leads to SCP-106's pocket dimension. Then Bluebear says that he will kill Fredbear and his friends, calling them stupid, sick, fat idiots. Yes, Bluebear has been evil the whole time. This was actually foreshadowed earlier with Bluebear regretting to help Fredbear out, by saying stuff like, "I shouldn't have told you that." After you defeat Bluebear, you get a cutscene where he explodes. Then you're given the choice to enter the portal or not. If you enter the porthole, the credits roll. Now, something that we don't know is what happens if you don't enter the portal. Aside from just having the game found, I am interested in finding out what happens. Do you get a different ending? One last thing, there is a minigame that you can play called Springtrap Super Shooter. This is where you fight Nightmare in a plane. No one seems to have beaten this minigame, though by the looks of it, it's unbeatable. Once again, if you have this game, please upload it and link it in the comments on my Discord server. That's all of Hadman's Lost FNAF fan games. Now let's talk about his next game, which went back to a sit and survive gameplay, Insomnia. The game was released on the 22nd of July 2016. This was very different to his previous work, with the biggest change being that he actually learnt 3D modelling. This game as well as his next game have 3D graphics, but are they good? Well, I think the animatronic models are okay. In Insomnia, you have the toy animatronics, Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, and Mangle, who is in full body form. They're well rendered and fit with the Office graphics. While I do think the Office is also well rendered, it's really dull. It's just blue walls with huge monitors. I'll admit it does give off liminal space vibes, but it doesn't really look interesting. So Insomnia's gameplay is similar to FNAF 4. You have no cameras and have to check your surroundings all the time. On your left and right, you have a hallway where Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica can attack from. Behind you is Mangle, who is sat on a chair. They will move closer to you if you don't check them often. Once they've moved closer, they can't move back. Whenever they move, they'll make a giggle sound. In front of you is another hallway, which you have to walk over to. Toy Freddy will attack from the hallway. When you hear laughing, you have to go over and shine a light at the hallway. Now, like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of FNAF 4's gameplay, but this is unfortunately a really boring game. All you have to do is just flash your light at everything. There's no tension when checking things because it will never go wrong. What really doesn't help is that night 1 through 5 are the exact same thing. The difficulty is barely even enhanced. To top this off though, there's a glitch where you can just completely ignore the hallway in front of you and you'll be fine. There isn't any phone calls, minigames or cutscenes between the nights. On night 6, things do change though. It introduces Golden Toy Freddy and Shadow Bonnie. Shadow Bonnie replaces Mangle and Golden Toy Freddy replaces everyone else. Despite there only being one consistently aggressive animatronic, I don't think night 6 is beatable. Golden Toy Freddy is just way too aggressive, and whenever he's in front of you, he'll usually kill you by the time you reach him. Hadman himself actually mentioned that if you play Night 6 in full screen, it'll glitch the game, although I played it in windowed mode and it was still way too hard. In the extras you can play a Fun with the Puppet and Fun with Nightmare Puppet minigame. These are both Fun with Plush Shop like games. I think these should have been in the main gameplay as it would have broke up the monotony a bit. That's pretty much all there is to say about this game. You can argue that it's a visual improvement over Hadman's previous games, with it now being made up of mostly original assets, but the gameplay really hasn't gotten better. In fact, it's actually gotten worse. Now we'll be talking about the last FNAF fan game that Hadman made, Fredbear Workshop, which was released on the 17th of August 2016. Just like many of Hadman's older games, this is a fan-made sequel to FNAF 3. When you press new game, it tells you that Fazbear's Fright burned down due to faulty wiring, and that the purple guy was taken to the hospital and was surgically removed from the spring suit. You then get a minigame cutscene that shows Springtrap being rushed to the hospital. So the game's visuals are a lot better than the visuals in Insomnia. The rooms are all decorated and it actually looks like a FNAF pizzeria. The toy animatronics make a return under the same models used in Insomnia. The new animatronics are Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, who both have uncanny designs. I don't know what it is about them, but they look kinda creepy to me, though they are the same model just with a different head. So in the game you have to keep the animatronics away from you by playing music in the cameras. Whenever you have the music on, the music power will go down. In Cam 4 you have to wind up a music box to stop the puppet from getting out. The best thing to do is to play the music in the animatronic starting location when they leave. For Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica it's Cam 6, for Fredbear it's Cam 4, for Spring Bonnie it's Cam 8, and for Mangle it's Cam 1. For Mangle you have to play the music when they leave in Cam 1 or you'll die. This sounds pretty easy, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it is. Until Night 4. Just like every other Hadman game. It's really easy to keep animatronics away from you. They'll always go to the room you play the music in at some point. You can probably guess why Night 4 is so hard. The music power will eventually run out, and when that happens, you're dead. I don't even know how this could have been improved. It's another example of when every animatronic does the same thing, only adding a music box. It'll either be way too easy or way too hard. On the plus side though, there are minigames between each night. Before Night 1 it showed the purple guy being rushed to the hospital. The minigame you get at the end of Night 1 shows that he was successfully surgically removed from the spring suit. In the minigame you play as a purple guy, who is relieved to have been freed from the spring suit. He then finds out that Fredbear Workshop opened. He is disappointed to find that a new restaurant opened. Oh yeah, this is called Fredbear Workshop. Yeah, it looks more like a pizzeria. I don't know if it's just a name or it's both a workshop and a pizzeria. Anyway, after finding out it opened, Purple Guy goes inside to check it out. In the Night 2 minigame he goes inside and is shocked to find out how clean the place looks. He then finds two kids bullying a smaller kid. The bullies are angry at the kid for ripping up their drawings, though the kid claimed that he never did it. Then after that, one of the bullies turn around and see the purple guy. He then says, "And look at that dumb purple idiot behind me, like he's gonna do much." What? Why is he just insulting the purple guy for no reason? Is it because he has purple skin? Is this kid racist? This is giving off haha purple skin vibes. In the Night 3 minigame, the purple guy actually tries to help the kid. Maybe being stuck inside a spring suit for 30 years taught him a lesson. Then the bully says that they're going to hit him on the head with a hammer until he dies. Yeah, they're gonna fucking murder this kid for ripping their drawings. Then they take away the kid. The purple guy then chases after them. No one seems to have beaten Night 4, but I looked in the files and it looks like in the Night 4 minigame you continue to chase the bullies. Then they kill the kid by bashing him to death with a hammer, which the purple guy reacts with horror. In the Night 5 minigame, the kid who dies' brother finds his body and starts crying. In the extras there's 3 minigames you can play. One as you play as Mangle. This minigame is a platformer where you have to interact with crying kids to make them happy. Another one as you play as Toy Bonnie, who is in a cart. You have to avoid obstacles lying around. And the last one as you play as Toy Chica, who has to protect the painting from the yellow guys. You have to shoot the yellow guys and when you shoot them, blood spurts off. Later on, the yellow guys will start attacking in planes. It says that if you beat all 3 minigames, you'll earn a special prize. I'm not sure what that prize is, but I did find sprites of 2 ghost children in the files. One is a kid who was murdered by the bullies and the other is a victim's brother. So maybe get a secret minigame. To my knowledge, there isn't a Night 6. So that's the end of Fredbear Workshop. This also just shows that while Hadman did get better at modelling, he didn't get any better at coding. This game is also just monotonous and boring. Fredbear Workshop was the last game that Hadman made. In around 2017 he deleted all of his games as he didn't like them anymore and had moved on from game development. He also probably wasn't a FNAF fan anymore. However though, on the 30th of March 2019 he made one final post. He re-uploaded 4 of his games: Fredbear Workshop, Insomnia, 5 Nights with the Toys and One Night Springtraps 1. He completely left the internet after this post and made it clear that he won't be re-uploading any more of his old games. Most of his games were eventually found and re-uploaded. The last thing I'd like to do now is rank all 12 of the available Hadman games from worst to best. If his lost games get found, I'll update the ranking either in the description or a pinned comment. Number 12, One Night at Springtrap's 3. Nothing stands out about it being the worst, it's just a really boring generic Photoshop FNAF fan game with no substance to it. Number 11, Toy Freddy Simulator. You'll play it for about 5 minutes, but then you'll never play it again afterwards. Number 10, Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner. This is also just a painfully boring and generic FNAF fan game with nothing to it. Number 9, One Night at Springtrap's. Same thing, another generic Photoshop FNAF fan game. This one has a bit of lore to it, which is why I do prefer it to Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner. Number 8, Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner 2. This is a bit less boring than its predecessor and has cutscenes between the nights. With that said though, it's not much better. Number 7, Insomnia. The only positive about this game is it has okay graphics, but it's still just so boring and monotonous. Number 6, One Night at Springtrap's 2. This is just more challenging than the games ranked lower down, but even then it's still pretty damn easy. Number 5, Fredbear Workshop. While it is visually the most impressive Hadman game, it still has really dull gameplay, and while it did attempt at having a story, it didn't really go anywhere. Number 4, One Night at Springtrap's Rebooted. It's still a really easy game, but I wouldn't quite say it's boring. You do have to actually keep checking stuff constantly and reacting to the animatronics. Not really a compliment, but it's better than what a lot of Hadman games could do. Number 3, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 the sequel. This would probably be number 1 if it wasn't so hard. It's actually a decent game from night 1 to 3 and has some really good animatronic designs, and I do like the inclusion of multiple endings. Number 2, One Night at Springtrap's 4. Yes, it's a short game, but I was honestly never bored playing it. It manages to fit quite a lot in it, with an opening cutscene, 2 minigames and a hard mode, and the gameplay, while easy, is actually quite enjoyable. Number 1, Five Nights with the Toys. To me, this is the closest to an actual good FNAF fan game. Yes, it's kind of generic, but this one has quite a few mechanisms, which all have a purpose and don't go to waste. And with there being minigames and cutscenes, this does keep you interested. When it comes down to it, none of Hadman games are that good, but my god are they nostalgic. Many of Hadman's games were big inspiration to me when I was a kid, and I was far from the only person. There's a lot of FNAF fan games that were heavily inspired by Hadman's games. The most well-known example is the One Night with Your Nightmares series by Red Rabbit Games, which you could even go as far as say are One Night at Springtrap's fan games. There's also a fan-made One Night at Springtrap's remaster by Larden, which was a remake of the first game with 3D graphics. There's also an unofficial remaster of Fredbear Workshop by Oloxy Antinkin, which is said to be a lot better and more functional than the original. So I hope you guys enjoyed this trip down memory lane, looking back on some classic FNAF fan games. Thank you for watching.